Hello, my name is William Johnson. I was born in Waukegan, Illinois, and moved when I was very young to Southern California, where I enlisted in the United States Air Force at the fresh age of 18. My first duty station was Ramstein, Germany. It was a long way from home, but I had the great opportunity of traveling to a lot of different places. I've stayed there for a few years, and then I moved to North Carolina, where I got stationed. Did 8 years and was able to travel to at least approximately about 30 different countries around the world. And that's where I grew an affection for percussion. Of course, being born to a Puerto Rican mother and African-American father, growing up listening to jazz, pop, world music, hip-hop, R&B, but I've always had a great affection for world music. And in every country that I traveled, from South Africa to Ramstein, Germany, to even Brazil, one of my first priorities was always to listen to what type of music that was in that place. And I just continued to grow on a love for the percussion. The heartbeat for worship, really, it started after a while I was going to church and I gave my life to Christ. I began to notice a lot of young men, particularly, I saw a lot of young girls in the drums as well, but in my immediate circle of fellowship, I began to notice that a lot of young men were playing on the drums and instruments really for something to do, and also just having a passion for the music. But perhaps the passion, the demeanor of actually loving what they did wasn't there, on top of when the praise and worship or the music was over and the preacher was preaching, if they even stayed in the sanctuary, the attention really wasn't there. And so having a heart for them, especially the youth, especially young men, I just wanted to know what else could I do that could help them and inspire them. And I began to notice a lot of youth will come up to me and say, "Man, I loved your playing. You were really passionate, And so I said, well, if they're watching me, maybe there's something I can kind of come up with. And noticing that need, on top of the fact of being a percussionist, in my immediate fellowship, there wasn't a whole lot of people that were actually studying music theory as it is applied to hand drumming. So I kind of wanted to have an event that featured cultural drumming, more than just African American or Anglo-Saxon or just Christian rock or contemporary gospel. I wanted to help expose, not saying that it's not out there, there's a lot of great ministries doing these great things, but I began to feel God tugging my heart to do this, and so the heartbeat for worship really came out of that need. And so really it's a three-tiered ministry. Number one, to use these instruments to evangelize the lost. It's nothing like talking to someone who's from India and then you begin to say, yeah, I play the tabla, and it's like, how do you even know what a tabla is, And I use that as a tool. And then, of course, secondly, to inspire believers and to break down racial and cultural barriers. So in a nutshell then, the heartbeat for worship is just that. Evangelize the lost, inspire believers, break down racial and cultural barriers. We're living in fast times. In many places, you have to drive, especially in America, to get to where you're going. If not, take public transportation. And sometimes we say, well, my church is just predominantly black or predominantly white, and that's just the way my church is, and it's real easy to minister to people that just look like us and walk by somebody who's hurting already. What the heartbeat for worship is supposed to be, it's just a microcosm of perhaps the way the world is. We can't do everything right. It's just the one way that God has given us, hopefully, to affect the world in a positive way. But we really need your help and your prayers. www.heartbeatforworship.com is where you can read more about the website. You can watch videos, and you can even email myself or one of our team members. There's a DVD from last year which was shot in high definition, also in stereo with the audio. You can purchase that. All of the proceeds go to helping this ministry. As anyone knows, planning an event, there's a lot of logistics and things that need to be covered in the area in terms of finances. And so we could really use, number one, your prayers and also your financial support. If God is leading you to do that, you could purchase a DVD. You can send me a message, say, we're praying for you and the Heartbeat for Worship team, but we just want to continue to impact the world the way that God has given us. So if you can remember to keep us in your prayers and perhaps to purchase a DVD, buy a ticket to this year's Heartbeat for Worship concert, we would love to see you out. God bless you and may heaven smile upon you.